Hi, this is TJ Pierce with Pierce Family Wellness, and today we're going to talk a little bit about metabolic typing as a basis to learning how to eat healthy. A lot of times we'll see all these fad diets come and go, the Atkins diet, the Zone diet, high carb, low carb, all these different things. And for some people it works quite well, for others it doesn't work at all. And the reason that we find that it works for some and not for others is that on a genetic level, we all have a different need for the macro and micronutrients in our bodies. And so a lot of this comes from work from Dr. Weston Price. This was done around the 1940s. And so what Dr. Price did is he traveled all across the world and he started studying indigenous cultures and their diets. And so one of the biggest things he found was when he was up in Alaska studying the Inuits, and he found that they had a diet of roughly 90% fat. So a fair amount of protein within that fat, but mostly fat, very little carbohydrate. And he found within these people, no dental caries, no tuberculosis, no heart disease, strong bones, no fertility issues, just very healthy people surviving off roughly 90% fat in their diet. On the other side of the globe, he was down in the Southern Americas where he studied the Quechua Indians, and he found pretty much the opposite. These people were roughly 90% vegetarian and a small amount of protein. But same thing, no dental caries, no tuberculosis, no heart disease, strong healthy bones, no fertility issues. So it begged the question, why can one group eat largely fat and be completely healthy, and another group eat largely carbohydrate and be very healthy? And the fact of it is because that's what their ancestors had eaten for centuries upon centuries. And so now, when we look deeper into that, the other thing he found was the quality of the food that they were eating. So within these same cultures, he would study the indigenous groups that lived off the mainstream. So different parts of these cultures would move closer to the streams, closer to the roads, and they would have access to what most of us eat today in processed foods. So foods that have had the vitamins and minerals stripped out and then replaced with petroleum-based vitamins and minerals so that they have a longer shelf life. And what Dr. Price found was regardless of the previous culture, so whether they ate large amounts of fat or large amounts of carbohydrate, any of them that ate these processed foods started to see deterioration. So again, they would start to have more dental caries, they would have the tuberculosis, heart disease, malformity of their facial bones, and eventually infertility. So when we put these two things together, it can start to help us understand that one, there is no set diet. There is the food pyramid, the government food plate. That's not realistic. That doesn't really look at the individual needs of nutrition. And secondly, we know that we need whole foods. We need quality foods. We need foods that have not been stripped of their nutrition content. So the next time you're looking to start a new diet, you want to take a deeper look into where that diet came from. And most of the ones we find now are based off very, very few studies, but they'll extrapolate the data that they want, showing that a certain percent of the people lost 20, 30, 40 pounds on the Atkins diet, which may be very well true, but that's not going to work for everybody. And for some people that eat that same high-fat diet, it's going to make them sick. And so the basic point of all this is there is no one health food, there is no one healthy diet, and you need to take the time to figure out what your metabolic type is, what foods make you feel the best, and start your nutrition program from there. Thank you. I'm TJ Pierce with Pierce Family Wellness.